This is my homemade fire starters. It's just wax and sawdust mixed together. And then I just wrapped it in just some notebook paper. I made them in an ice cube tray, just so I could make some that are real simple to test out before I make bigger ones. Then to light it, you just unfold one end of it. You can set it inside your campfire, on a stove, whatever. Let's say you're going to light a campfire. A lot of the wood is kind of damp, so it's hard to light. Can't really find any small tinder. That's what these are good for. So because they burn for quite a while, so it'll give off plenty of heat and burn long enough to light whatever it is you're trying to light. So now I'll show you an example of it. You just take it, lighter, light the paper, it'll start to burn, and wax paper works a little bit better. This is the first time I've used the notebook paper to do it, and it's kind of more so of a test than anything. So as you can tell, obviously the notebook paper is not the easiest thing to work with to light, but I mean, there it goes. It's up and going now. Just have to work with it for a minute, and then it'll get going. It'll burn for quite a few minutes. We'll go ahead and stay out here and watch it burn, see how long it goes for. Let's see. Other projects I've been working on are also making smoke screens, or also known as smoke bombs. I just prefer to call them smoke screens because that way it doesn't get me in too much trouble. A lot of people use them for airsoft, all sorts of different things. They're kind of hazardous to make, so if you ever decide to make any homemade smoke screens, do it outside, because I had some accidentally light off on my stove, and yeah, you don't want that happening. Well, now it's definitely going a good bit. Yeah, as you can see, it's definitely burning quite a good bit right now. It puts off a good bit of heat. And yeah, it's pretty nice. Excuse me. The only thing I paid for is the wax. The sawdust I obviously got for free. Because, well, it's just leftovers from making stuff. Yeah. I'm going to end up making a box, a wooden box with a lid that fits inside the box to make the fire starter blocks from. I'll pour the stuff in, put the lid on, and compress it down. That way it'll have a lot better fit. These are just poured in. They're real loose, which I think it being loose probably helps it burn a little more, because it still burns for quite a while. But to lengthen the burn time, you could compress it down, pack more sawdust in. You can kind of tell the wax is starting to run off a little bit as it melts. I think using actual candle wax is best. Paraffin wax that has a lot lower burning temperature, I don't think would work that great, because how low of a temperature it melts at. I mean, your whole thing would probably fall apart rather quickly, so good candle wax is probably best. I just got mine from Hobby Lobby. It's cheap. Well, it's not too cheap. It's about like 24 bucks for a 10-pound block of it. Yeah, so it's been burning for almost 4.5 minutes now. And it has barely even burnt much of it at all. Another project I'm going to be working on is alcohol stoves. Real easy to do. They're just basically leftover soda or beer cans. You're using only the bottom portion of them most of the time. You can also use monster cans, the ones that have the screw-on caps. You can actually make a whole alcohol burner out of just one can if you do that, because you'll be using both the top and bottom. Some people have used the aluminum beer bottles and made pretty nice ones. I mean, knowing how a can is normally pretty flimsy, since how you're basically doubling up the walls, sometimes tripling the walls on the aluminum, it seems to make them quite a bit stronger, so you don't have to really worry about them crushing. And yeah, we're just about at 6 minutes of burn time now, and it's been going for quite a while. It still has quite a bit left. I mean, all it really takes to put them out, just a quick breath of blowing on it real hard, and it'll just go out. So doing it on a windy day, probably not that great, but I mean, when you're doing it in the middle of a bonfire, like surrounded by sticks and stuff, I mean, it should light up without any issues, because it would be blocked by a lot of wind. I mean, if you have to, you can shield it with something, like just stack up a bunch of logs on one side to block all the wind. And once it's going good, just like knock the wall over onto it, whatever. As I said before, you can use it for lighting campfires, lighting your barbecue grill, or just about whatever. If you need a cheap stove, I mean, yeah, something like this would leave a lot of soot because the yellow flame. But I mean, if you don't have an alcohol stove around that you can use, do what you got to do to cook your food. But I mean, this is going to be burning for quite some time, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it out. So yeah, this has been burning for about 7.5 minutes, getting close to 8 minutes, so yeah. And yeah, now we're about approaching 8 minutes of burn time, and it's still got a lot left. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it out. Alright, well, if you like all my videos, just go ahead and like, subscribe, whatever, leave comments. If you have questions about anything, shoot me a message. I'll be happy to answer back, whatever. But yep, alright, have a good one. Bye. It's a little bit difficult to blow out, but whatever. I'll get it out. Bye.